Hey, man, look, I appreciate you checking me, man.
Absolutely,
You
man.
know, you hit me up talking about the platform. That is dope. You know,
Absolutely.
I ain't know where this was gonna go. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Speaking of, you know, we used to have the clubhouse meetings and stuff like that. So I try to like keep conversations going some way, somehow.
We need it.
I knew I couldn't talk to y'all every freaking Monday like I
Yeah.
wanted to, so I kind of like, yo, maybe I could talk to the masses through the camera, stuff like that. But you know, Ben, man, I want to say this first. I admire your hustle, bro. Your grind. I've known you since I was little. Um, you know, you between you working your 9 to 5, your DJ skills, you as a person, you know what I'm saying? You as a father, I always respected you for that, bro. Like
Appreciate that.
from a youngin', and you not that you a year older
Yeah,
than me,
yeah. Oh,
bro.
that's
You
it.
know what I'm saying?
Nah, but I get
It's
it.
not like you know you super OG or anything, but I just want to say that out the gate. But what I do want to say is, you know, how you know, you was here in CT and then you moved to Florida.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that shift? Yeah.
That shift was, it was, at the time it felt rewarding. It felt like I was very blessed. I was in a position to take my family and create a new life for us.
Yeah.
You know, working at my employment for the last 14 years, they took it upon themselves and gave me the opportunity to move to Florida. And at the time, my ex-wife, she dealt with lupus. So it made sense, you know, the climate and so forth to relocate.
Right.
So that's what we did. You know, I didn't think about it too tough. You know, as a married man and a family man, you gotta do what you gotta do. I give a lot, you know
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying, the whole DJing and my social life and so forth. But at the end of the day, if I had to create a new life for my son and my time, at the time, my ex-wife, then I do what I had to do. You know what I'm saying?
So fatherhood, man. Let's, you know, I'm big on that. You know what I mean? I'm like I said, I have a stepdaughter, but you know, I just had a son some months back, and I love it, man. I've always loved it, but you know, having a little version of myself
Itself, yeah.
is,
You look at it like, damn, I created that.
yo,
Like,
for
I helped
real.
create that.
How do you how you love fatherhood so
I
far,
love
man?
it, man. I love it. It's so rewarding, you know, just to see my son every day, or when I can see him and just see his face light up whenever I get to talk to him, you know, see his energy, like see the things that he used to, or he does as a kid that I used to do.
Yeah.
And my parents tell me how I used to do that and so forth. So just seeing these traits and stuff that he can, you know, do and stuff, it's so rewarding, and I love it. It's the best feeling ever, man.
Yo, I can't. I think that might be the best feeling.
Best feeling.
Now, question, like for me, I'm big on like working hard for my family, grinding. You know, I do everything for them. Now, I know you just had a situation
Yeah.
that you going through,
Yeah.
and when I, you know, I don't when I'm, how can I put this? I can't even picture the word divorce in my head. Like nah, like I don't even want to.
I hear you.
It's a scary
It's a
thing,
scary
man.
thing.
It's a scary thing, but it's a reality.
It is.
Um, and it's not a secret that that's what you're going through.
Yeah.
How do you get to that point, man? Like how does that even how do you get there?
And I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, when you get married and you create this life, you never envision divorce. You don't say, I'm gonna get married to get divorced. You know what I'm saying? And to be in this situation, or the situation that I just, you know, finalized, whatever the case would be, a few months ago, it's scary, but in the same breath, it's eye opening.
Yeah.
That, you know, there's certain things in life that you go through that is not gonna be what you thought. Like you can say you're gonna write a book or write a story or read a chapter or make a chapter, but it's not gonna go the way you envision it. And unfortunately, that's how life turned out for me. But I've learned that a lot of people in this world go through divorces.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's something that I never envisioned that I would ever go through. But a lot of people go through divorces, and let me tell you something, bro. It is the hardest thing that I have ever ever. Let me tell you something. I got all my siblings. I got my parents. I've never lost any of them. You know, praise the Lord. But they say a divorce is similar to losing a sibling or losing like a family member or a parent. You know what I'm saying? Because you're losing a part of your heart.
Right.
1/3 of my life. I'm 35. When I met my ex-wife, or when we started dating, March 31st, 2014.
Wow.
Never forget. First date was April 1st, 2014
Oh,
at the
man.
Russell. Shout out to the Russell.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? But it's just like those certain things that you won't forget. And then to have that piece of your heart ripped away
yeah.
for whatever reason it is, it's like, and then still knowing, you know, in our case, we have our son, but still knowing you still have to co-parent and see that person and, you know, going through life with that individual, but only as a co-parent or whatever the case may be. It's the hardest pill to swallow because you don't know how that's going to look. That's not something you envisioned.
Right.
And me personally, like my parents divorced back in 2003. They separated in 97.
Yeah.
6 years later, got divorced. And that was the hardest thing for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't understand it. I thought my pops didn't, or my moms, I thought they didn't love my brother and I, like, you know, how we grew up and see it. I always ask, like, why are we in this situation, whatever. But I didn't understand it.
Right.
I didn't understand it. To this day, I still don't get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I had to find ways to cope with it, to understand it, look for help. And I did that. And 22 years later, I still seek the same help that I had to obtain when that divorce happened with my parents
Yeah.
through my therapist. And, you know, she's been a blessing to me. 22 years later, she still helps me out.
2 years.
22 years.
Yo. Yo, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, my stance on therapy has been clear. Like I can't even, I just now started getting into this therapy thing this year.
Yeah.
And you talking 22 years. How did you know to go to therapy back then?
It wasn't something that I wanted.
Yeah.
I remember at school, Bloomfield High School, was in 10th grade, and I was in science class. And I made a comment like, yo, I was just so stressed out, and I was like, I'm gonna kill myself. And the teacher heard me, and she referred me to the school counselor. And from then they were like, yeah, we want to get you in therapy, because I had a lot going on. My parents going through divorce. Like, I'm a very family oriented person. So
Right.
to have any type of destruction or anything going on in my family, if it's my family or immediate family, whatever the case may be, like it's gonna bother me. And that's something that bothered me. And from then I had to go see therapy. And it took me a while to open up, like a while. Like, they put me on medication because I was depressed, and it had its side effects. I didn't really like it, but I knew it wasn't something. It was something that I had to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was something I had to do, and I had to get over that hump. And like I said, 22 years later, I'm still seeing the same therapist. And I really, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, therapy is a business, but I feel like at one point in life, you're gonna become best friends with that individual. And I really feel like she's my best friend. Like, even people in my family are like, yo, we don't understand why you still see her, or why do you talk to a therapist, or what. That's between me and my therapist. No one on the outside can tell me or dictate how I communicate with my therapist, what I talked about my therapist, or what. Because I'll tell you right now, Aunt, if it wasn't for my therapist, I wouldn't be here. There wouldn't be no Ben Jr., there wouldn't be no Ben Riley Sr. Like, I'm keeping it a buck with you. Like, I've been at that place where I've been ready to let it go and just say, F it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been at that place.
Damn, bro.
So,
All right, so question. So, like, how do you feel you feel as far as it being effective? Because, you know, obviously, did your parents ever, they never got back together?
nah, my parents don't even talk to each other.
So what does a therapist do to kind of make you be able to, since what you wanted never happened, I guess, how has that helped you enough to maneuver?
It has helped me to realize that, because growing up, again, my parents going divorced, I thought it was something that I did as a child. I thought it was something that Alex did as a child. I thought it was something my older brother did as a child, for my parents not to be together. And again, now that I'm 35 and what I just went through, it even makes more sense. Like, people just part away, you know what I'm saying? And it might be issues or whatever the case may be while you're in that place. But back then, 22 years ago, I didn't understand that. And I just thought it's something that I did. And it's not until I had a reassuring conversations with my therapist and letting me know that I'm doing everything that I can do as a 16 or 17-year-old boy at the time to ensure that I, Benjamin Riley, when I get older, I'll be successful, will do what I need to do. And those reassuring conversations that I had with her, those medications that she put me on back in the day and so forth, had created a path for me to follow and understand that I didn't do anything wrong. For the longest, and I thought I did something wrong. Me personally did something wrong.
Why did you think that, though?
I didn't know why my parents was always arguing. I didn't know why they were in this place, or I didn't understand why, it was in that type of realm where they just weren't happy with each other. I was traveling from Bloomfield to Hartford every day for school.
Wow.
So from 97 and I graduated in 05, that's what, 8 years?
Yeah, just
Of back and forth.
Back and forth.
That took a toll on my body individually, just waking up extra early to try to, have my mom drop my brother off and go to school and so forth. So there's a lot of things that go into it when people don't think it affects, and people think that it only affects them as individuals, just the parents or whatever. No,
Yeah, it's a whole.
It's bigger than just the mother or father or the husband or wife. It's bigger than that. You understand? And I think those are one of the things that kind of messed me up when I went through my divorce. Is that I feel like it's a generational curse. It's something that I did not want to give to my son, or I didn't want him to see what I went through, or I wanted to make sure I was always going to be there for him. Being in a house with him for 8 years and then abruptly that changes to where I don't see him every single night. Like that's a life altering change. You understand? And the thing about that is, like, if I wasn't in a place where I was mentally, where I'm in a much better place now than I was 16 years ago. But if I was in a better place, maybe 5 years ago, I don't know how I would have reacted to be in this situation, to knowing that I can't see my son every day. You know what I'm saying? Or just not being able to wipe his nose when he's sick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's bigger. It's a bigger picture.
Let me ask you a question. So so that happened to you as a kid, right? You wasn't afraid to get married and that happening again? Like, what was your take on marriage before you got married? Like, this is something you wanted to do?
It's something I wanted to do. And I always told myself that I wasn't gonna have a baby mother. I'm big, like I said, I'm big on family. You know what I'm saying? And, my son was conceived before we got married, but it was something that we spoke about, and it wasn't like an accident or whatever the case may be. Like, we knew what it was, you know what I'm saying? And I was ready for it. And when I proposed on Christmas Day of 2014, I won't forget. And I just felt like, I felt like I was doing what I needed to do to complete my happiness. And I know they say no one can give you happiness or whatever, but if someone can add to it and make your life or your circle whole, then I'm willing to take that jump, you know what I'm saying, that challenge, whatever the case may be. And I did that. And I felt like, I was just ready for it. Do I feel like I was scared? Absolutely, because at the time my brother was going through a divorce. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, I was scared. Like I ain't gonna lie, like I was ready to back out. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
just finished.
That's 2 for 2.
That's 2 for 2. You understand? When I say it's a generational curse, bro, it's a generational curse, because we go through what we go through is kind of what we picked up when we were little, or what we see when we're growing up. You know what I'm saying? So how we deal with it is just levels to how we address things as we get older and so forth. So I was scared, but I said, you know what? I have faith. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, my ex, she was a great person, and I didn't see any reason why I wouldn't take this leap of faith. Like, I was ready for this next chapter, and then especially moving out the state, like, this is ideal. You know what I'm saying? Like, start over.
So when you move out the state, everything is everything good, or it was like things was a little shaky?
Yeah, everything was great.
Great.
Everything was great and perfect. Like, no issues. Like, everything was happy. There was no issues. I mean, other than like the health scares with her and myself.
Right.
Other than that, everything was perfect, bro. No issues at all.
What was the turning point for you? Like, what was the moment in your brain where you was like, oh shit, I think this is about to be 3 for 3. Like, this shit might be.
I'd say maybe like 2018. Started seeing things and getting to a place where I didn't realize who I wouldn't say I wouldn't realize who I was dealing with, but I started seeing things that made me question, like, is this real? You know what I'm saying? But, in marriage, you try to look past little small things, you try to work on things. Because I firmly believe, like, in marriage, you're going to have ups and downs. You're never going to always be solid. Like, let's get that out. Let's get that out of everyone's head, or your head, my head. I don't think that. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have arguments. But I thought, like, in 2018, that's when I was like, okay, this is kind of funny. And then you got to really think about a plan B. But I wasn't trying to do that because I wanted to work. I'm always going to work on my marriage. I was always going to want and work for what I had, especially knowing at the time that my son was 4, 2018, he was 4 years old, and I didn't want him to go through what I went through. because Alex and I were 8 and 9 or 9 and 10 when my parents divorced, so like, I didn't want him to go through that.
So, did you feel like you could? Do you feel like there was something you could have done more to stop this from happening, or you gave every? Because you know what you know what we're talking about right now, right? let's not be naive to what we're talking about. 9 times out of 10, when we look at divorces or when we look at in the media, right? This is all situational, but I'm only going off of what I see. I feel like the dude did something, and it just seems like the guy did something.
Yeah,
And I could be wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I get it. That's how
That's the
how
narrative,
it's
right?
that's the narrative in how it's portrayed in 2022, which is unfortunate.
Right.
But I can honestly say, Ant, that I've done everything and I tried everything in my power to keep my relationship afloat prior to going through my divorce. I think no one in this world is perfect.
Right.
As far as like infidelity and stuff like that, I never did that. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things I'm big on, because I see people like our age going through same situations, and infidelity is at the forefront of what the situation was.
Exactly.
And they're not going through what I went through.
This is something.
Yo,
This is something.
yeah, they're not going through what I went through.
All I see is this dude cheated, or he emotionally cheated. He did all types of cheating, right? There's more than just cheating physically. There's emotional cheating. There's all types of cheating.
It's all types of cheating. But to be honest, I didn't commit those type of things. So to be in this place and to get this type of, or to have this narrative created that I'm this bad guy or I'm mentally ill or whatever, it's disturbing, because as a black man, Ant,
Yes.
as a black man, I'm 35 years old, and I know where I was born, I know where I've started, I know where I grew up, and I know where I am now. I worked my ass off, bro. I worked my ass off, made sacrifices not only for me, but for my family. You understand?
Right.
And to be in this place now where I wake up, I work, gym, and I see my son every few days now, versus when I wake up, see my son every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was something that created this, if it was something behind it, infidelity, abuse, domestic, something, I could understand that.
Yeah.
But to be in this place and then just because someone wants to create a narrative or just be in this free world or do what they want to do or whatever, bro, it doesn't make sense to me. And that was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, I've been in a place where I can accept it being a divorce. Like, fine, everyone's not going to stick together, and it's a divorce. The word is divorce is because it's something that people really go through.
Right.
But I really feel like when you go through these situations and big divorce where it comes up, it's the way that you go about it.
Right.
There's no reason in this world why the things that I went through should have happened to me.
You want?
Let me take a sip. Yeah. It started January 13, 2021. Like I said, I'm good with dates. January 13, 2021. I'll never forget that day. So it started then, and it officially ended April 20th, 2022.
Right.
So from that time to that time, the beginning to end, my mental health was at its lowest type of stability.
Yeah.
I had to call a suicide line twice. I had I found myself in a place where I'm in a place where I didn't trust anyone. I didn't know anyone. You know, being in Florida by myself, I didn't have the outlets. I didn't have the resources to say, yo, Aunt, let's go play ball, or let's go to the gym, whatever. Like, I have a couple friends out there, and I appreciate them because they've been my savior during this process. But I didn't have the love and affection from like my parents or siblings or friends like I really wanted to, because I wasn't physically up here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
When I went to Florida, I took that time and said, I'm going to build my family and we're going to work on that out here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So to go through that and my family was there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say that they wasn't, but to physically have them, to hug them, like it was months that I went in without giving anyone a hug.
Damn.
Like I hugged my son.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like I couldn't hug anyone. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't say what's up. You know, that connection, that energy from somebody, it wasn't there. So that mentally took a toll on me. And then having conversation with my therapist once, twice a month via FaceTime, it helped. But honestly, that was the lowest peak I was ever in. And I'll tell you this, I'm not a shy and scared to say it, but you know, October of last year, my therapist is like, hey, why don't you talk to your PCP to get antidepressant medication? And I did that. And I went to the doctor. I can look back and laugh now. It's just crazy because I'm over it. Like I'm in a different place. You know what I'm saying? So I could talk about it.
Right.
But I went to the doctor and the doctor was like, hey, how you doing? Like, we noticed you lost 80 pounds in 4 months. I was like, damn, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
She's like, what's going on? I'm like, you know, I'm okay. You know, I'm going through a divorce. You know, it's hard. You know what I'm saying? I'm going through a lot. And then I had like some chest, like I had to get like an EKG. And like my heart was doing mad crazy stuff. Like I was going through it. Wow. And she was like, yo, you know, is everything all right? I'm like, I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm depressed. If you're asking, that's why I'm asking for depression medication. And she's like, okay, well, let's go in the room, take some blood work, and then we come back in and we discuss it. And when I tell you, we went, did some blood work, came back to the room, there were 3 Palm Beach sheriff officers waiting for me.
What?
So in the state of Florida, if you go to the doctor and they feel like, yo, you're a harm to yourself or others,
Yes.
they Baker Act you.
Wow.
And what that means is they put you in the psych ward for 72 hours, mandatory hold. Nobody can say anything to you, can't talk to you. And I never been to jail.
Right.
But let me tell you something. You know how you see the movies and you see people wrapped up and talking to themselves?
That's real.
Son, I was shook. They put me in this room with this boy. I didn't even know him from Adam, and he's like on the bed talking to himself. Bro, I couldn't go to sleep. And then they come into the room like every 15 minutes to make sure you don't hurt yourself or hurt somebody else. Like it was, and I thought to myself, I'm like, yo, dog, this is crazy. Like I'm not even supposed to be here.
I was gonna say, did you feel you needed to be there?
No.
Looking back now?
I look at it and I say, you know what? I needed, because I wasn't there for 3 days.
All right.
They let me out the next day because they had to interview with 6 different doctors because I'm like, yo, I'm not supposed to be here.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they hear that all day, like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here, rah, whatever the case may be.
Same
but
story.
They had, exactly. So I had to interview with 6 doctors and they say, yo, yeah, you seem like you don't need to be here, Mr. Riley. I said, I know that. I've been telling y'all that. Giving me mad medication, mad medications and stuff that I'm not even familiar with that even went in my body, bro. You understand? But I do what I take away from that experience is that it's like, it made me realize, yo, Juice, you got to get it together. Like, this is a wake-up call for you to see, like, you can't let someone determine or dictate your life going forward. Because at that time, I'm stressed. Yeah. I'm sad that I'm losing my family. I'm losing the love of my life. I'm going through these things, and I can't understand why I'm going through it.
Right.
You understand? 80 pounds in 4 months is a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Granted, I go to the gym, but bro, I ain't never lose 80 pounds in 4 months. You understand? So when she said that and she made that statement of concern, I get it. And again, like in the state of Florida, I can't say, oh, I'm fine, I'm good, rah. No, you have to go. You must go, and they put you in cuffs and you got to go and they take you in. And from then I said, wow, this is where my life has changed.
So you get out, what's the first thing you do?
First thing I do is I call an Uber.
Yeah.
To go get my car. Cause remember I went to the doctor regularly to get just a regular physical.
Right.
And I went to get my car, and I had to get there. My car isn't there.
Of course.
And then at the time I'm calling my ex-wife. She says that my car is home, so she picked up my car. During that process, though, it's crazy. Like in a psych ward, like, you don't have any phones.
Yeah.
Like the only numbers on top of your head that you can remember is what you remember. You understand?
Right.
And it's like, I call Alex, and I call James, and I call Rome, 3 of my boys, my best friends, and I was like, yo, this is where I'm at. pops is looking for me, my mom's looking for me, because you call my phone, you're not gonna get me.
Right.
You understand? So this is where I'm at, and this is the situation, whatever. And from then, bro, I was like, this is crazy. Like, I've never experienced anything like that in my life.
Yeah. Damn, bro. Yo. All right, so how are things after that? Like, were things ever like, I guess, did things ever like look up and then go down, or was it just like a nosedive?
Nah, it was a straight nosedive after that. I mean, because after that, like I said, I take my mental health very serious. You know what I'm saying? And at that time now, it was like, because I was Baker acted or I was referred to a doctor, whatever the case may be, it was thrown in my face.
Yeah.
You know, it was brought to attorneys or legal consultation or to the courts that I am not stable to have my son 50% of the time or whatever the case may be. Like, I'm like, yo, you know where it came from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But this is the same person that picked up my car and make sure I'm good and so forth. It's like, what narrative are you trying to create? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, and again, in the back of my head, and I'm like, yo, what did I do to deserve this? Because I ain't do nothing to you. You understand? So to be in this place on the other end of this stick and trying to go through this, it's like, yo, seriously? Bro, the documentation said you don't feel comfortable with me having our son because I'm not mentally stable.
Wow. Now, there's proof that can back it up.
Absolutely.
Right?
Listen, everything is proof to everything, bro.
Right,
There's
right.
receipts to everything.
Damn. So, how's this taking this hold on your son at this moment? Do you see your son acting different? Like,
Yes, absolutely. I see Ben acting different. You know, he was back in school, and you know, he was. I wouldn't even say back then. I would say now that I'm no longer in the house.
Yeah.
You know, when school started up, he was doing, forgetting schoolwork, and towards the end of last school year, he was, talking out and misbehaving and so forth. But those are things that I knew would happen. You understand?
You were him at some point in your
And
life.
unfortunately, my ex-wife, I'm not gonna speak to her circumstances or her family circumstances, but, divorce wasn't too far from her family as well.
Right.
But in the same breath, her situation was different from mine growing up.
Yeah.
Parents are still great friends to this day, and I respect it. I honor that. That's great that y'all can still be best friends and so forth. My parents are not like that. You understand? So it was very toxic in my house growing up as a kid, and then to be on my own in this world, knowing that I didn't see what that should feel like and so forth, whatever the case may be, it was new to me. You understand? But again, like I wasn't surprised by the way Ben acted out and so forth growing up. Like,
Did y'all have a conversation about this before? Like, as far as you having that trauma through divorce and then your ex-wife having this, like, did y'all ever discuss that?
it was conversations, but it was nothing ever too deep. Growing up, man, like, or just being in my relationship, like, unfortunately, like, there were times where I was, I used to, like, when you have a wife or you have a best friend or your spouse, whatever the case, you confide in them. You talk to them about a lot of things that you growing up, that you've dealt with, whatever. And I confided in my ex with a lot of things. But unfortunately, Aunt, those things were thrown back in my face growing up. I mean, I'm sorry. Those things were thrown back in my face during the process.
Got you.
You're crazy man this, cuckoo this, da 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 da. And because growing up, I considered you my best friend,
Right.
I open up to you. My wife, I'm open 15, 16, 20, 16, 17, 18. I'm opening up to you about things that I went through growing up and hoping that you, as my life partner, can help me sustain and get through those issues together as my wife. You understand? But when now we're at this place where we're no longer going to be married and you're taking these actions and throwing them in my face and using them against me and calling me names, knowing that it's a triggering situation. Like I said, a couple weeks ago, I said, like, going through therapy is not something that was accepted when we were younger.
Right.
You understand? So going to therapy 22 years ago versus now, you know, you go to therapist, you go to therapy now, everybody taking pictures of this therapy. Oh, that
Yeah,
therapy,
it's like,
and it's like the cool thing
it's
to do
cool to,
now. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it's
Hashtag
very
therapy
cool.
Tuesday or whatever the case may be. Back
Right.
then, like, yeah, I'm going to the dentist. I'm going to the eye doctor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I gotta go buy these Jordans and I gotta
Right.
stand in line. Nah, I was at my therapist. You
Wow,
understand?
bro.
So to go through that 22 years ago and then now go through this process now, and this narrative is being created by many individuals, bro.
Not just one.
Nah, not just one. And you know, and let me tell you something, son. Like, I've realized through my healing journey that I could respond. I could be Petty LaBelle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I could be Dr. Petty and respond and put stuff in the atmosphere, but I'm so far ahead of that.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking back to that no more. Like, I see who is who, I see what is what, and I see who is who they are.
Yeah.
You understand? And I've come to terms with that because you can't change anyone.
Right.
You understand? You can only work on somebody and so forth. But I hear the noise. I see the same couple individuals that say this, say that, speak on me. Like, I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
You in Connecticut, and you talking about my business or you running my business in the street. Like, come on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, do something with yourself productive. I'm not speaking on you. I don't speak ill will of anyone, because at the end of the day, it comes back to you. And I'm a firm believer in karma. I'm a firm believer in the Lord. And I believe that everything happens for a reason. I believe that karma is strong. It doesn't take years to hit your ass back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm in a place now where I'm letting that stuff go.
Right.
I'm not even trying to address that stuff, because at the end of the day, everyone who knows me, who knows Juice, who knows Ben,
Right.
Benny, whatever, you know me.
Right.
You understand? And you know I would never put myself in a position to catch a domestic charge, to put my hands on anybody, to be crazy or do something like that. Like, during this process, and like, I've been in places where I was like, police was called on me during my divorce or during the process.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're trying to create a narrative. And let me tell you something. Like, I know it's not just one person that put this together.
Right.
You understand? Like, it's a group of people, or it's just 3 or 4 individuals that come around the round table. If it's via text message, to say, let's do this to Ben to get him to react, or let's do this to you know what I'm saying, get him to attack you, or whatever the case may be. Like,
Why would someone do that though? What would make someone? Why?
I don't
Why?
understand that. Like, it's more of a situation where I never understood it, and if I took the time to understand it,
Right.
I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose my mind in trying to understand why someone that I put this much time, effort, and love into would try to deteriorate my character as a human being, as a black man, as a dad.
Yeah.
And I've never put you in that place to even be on that end of that spectrum. I've never did anything to you to harm you or anything like that. So to be in that place, I never understood it. To this day, I don't even care anymore. Like, I'm past it. I'm over it, and I'm good. Like, I'm in a better place. Like, I can honestly look at you, my guy, and say I'm in a better place because it doesn't bother me anymore.
Because you know how this could go, right? You know what could happen, right?
Of course.
It could be Ben is lying.
I
Ben did A, B, and C.
Of course.
Right? Ben did this, right? Oh,
Absolutely.
this is just his side of the story. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, or it's like, Ben is crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's the
narrative that's been,
anyway.
that's what's been going on. So it's not even like, and at the end of the day, like, I'm 35 years old. I don't have nothing to prove to anybody.
Right.
The only person I care about in this world is my son. You understand? So at the end of the day, anybody can say what they want to say. People are going to say and think what they want to think. That's fine.
Yeah.
You understand? But at the end of the day, it's just my son. So I could really care less. But at the end of the day, it has to come a time where me knowing what I've been through, the struggles I've been through, what I came from and where I'm at and where I'm going,
Yeah.
I can't allow someone to continue to slander my name. My last name is Riley. My son's last name is Riley. You understand? His name is Benjamin Riley. My name is Benjamin Riley. So at the end of the day, you speaking on me, you speaking on my son.
Right.
You understand? So I'm not going to let that narrative continue to be controlled. And I just needed to get ahead of it. And I put it out there. Like I said, like, I've been in therapy for 22 years. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And that's the thing, what people do in the society is they make it seem like it's a bad thing or whatever the case may be. Bro, it's not a bad thing. Therapy has saved me as an individual, as a black man. You understand? And I have no shame in saying that.
What does this mean? How do you move forward when it comes to investing now?
How do I move forward? What?
When it comes to investing, right? So, like, you know, you at one point, like, yo, you moved your family down to Florida. I mean, I'm sure you was like doing everything for them. as a unit. You know what I mean? Like, is your mindset change now? Is it like, because you know how you say you just care about yes,
Yeah, my
like you
son.
go from loving somebody to now just, yo, you get what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like, yo, what's the mindset now? Like, what
The
do you?
mindset behind it, bro, is like, do I think I'll ever get married again?
Yeah, like how
I
do you
think
move
about
forward?
that.
Right, right.
Like right now, I think about it. Nah, I'm straight. Because I really think marriage is a contractual agreement between two individuals. And at the end of the day, when it doesn't go the way you want it to go, or doesn't way that she wants it to go, or your partner, whatever the case may be, that's when you go to the system. And the system is in place. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
to make the male be in the place that he's in. I'm not gonna say suffer because I didn't suffer.
right.
You understand? But at the same place, the system is in place to make the male get the bad end of the stick, which is unfortunate.
Yes.
But I get it because there are some males out here that do deserve that because they ain't shit dads or ain't shit husbands, whatever.
Right.
And I understand that.
glad you said that,
Oh,
by the way.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I call it what it is. Like
Right.
I see it. So to be in the situation to go through, I went through it. That's what burns me up even more because I shouldn't have been in this place. You understand? But again, do I think I'll get married? Probably not. Maybe in a couple of years I may rethink it and I say yeah, but I want to make sure Benjamin Riley, is settled as far as having everything established. Like, give it like a year and a half. I'm gonna have a big ass crib in West Palm Beach, bro. Come down, pool parties, like, bro.
That's what we supposed to be right now.
Yo, yeah, we're supposed to be done, but it's cool. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's cool. But bro, give it a year and a half, bro. Like, I see the vision. I seen it, and you know, I'm a firm believer in speaking things into action, bro. And I really feel like, you know, what I went through, it didn't break me. It almost did.
Yeah.
And it almost broke me, bro. And it almost broke me, bro. Like, as many times that I've cried myself to sleep, woke up in the middle of the night crying. Like, I picked up a second job just so I'm not in the crib with that type of energy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I be at the gym for 5 hours. Bro, 5 hours?
Yeah, man. That's
Yo, like, I've done things to try to preserve my energy to be in a better space.
Yeah.
Because I know the type of energy that was around me. It was straight negative energy. And at the end of the day, and it's like, yo, the people who speak on me negatively, if I don't talk to them people ever again, I'm cool with that.
cool with that.
I'm good. I'm not gonna lose no sleep. When it comes to my ex-wife, like I said, I'm always gonna have love and respect for her because one, that's my son's mother. You understand? I'm always gonna have love and respect for her. But the narrative that has been spread, or the narrative that's been created, that I was this and I was that, like, bro, like, I have no reason to lie. I have no reason to do anything outside of what I've done. But, like, you know,
Could you have done something different? All right, let me ask you this. If you had to do it again, would you do something different?
yeah, there's certain things I would do.
Because this could be a learning lesson too for men and women. You know, we got it. What would you do differently? Like, is there something, would you have wait longer? Would you have, you know what I mean?
Nah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the time. The biggest thing that I would say, because I'm not going to get into too much details, but
Right,
the
you
biggest,
don't have to.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I would do, or what I would have done different, is use the word no. If I would have said no to a lot of things in the past,
Yeah.
things would have been different. And when I say no, I'm talking about life-altering changes.
Right. Okay.
You know, let's go buy this big-ass house for $800 million. No.
Okay.
Knowing that it'll keep us in financial. That's just an example. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But just in that realm and in that breath, like saying no, like you have to be a firm believer in saying no, because at the end of the day, what this has taught me is that you can't be in this for anybody but yourself.
Right.
As selfish as someone may be, or whatever the case may be, or you try to do things for, you know, your spouse, or because it's the married way, or it's things you're supposed to do when you're married. Nah, bro, we're not doing that. No means no. That's the biggest thing that I took away from it, and that I would change if anything.
Do you feel a specific type of guy goes through this? Do you feel like, you get where I'm going with this? Do you feel like, cause bro, you do a lot, bro. Like you from what you telling me, you know what I mean? You grinding hard from your family. You respectable, great father. Do you feel like a certain type of guy goes through this compared to another type of guy? Like,
I
A
feel
guy
like
who does, a guy who's kind of, let me just call it what it is, fucked up.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like the way society is today, bro, social media and so forth, like, it's so many distractions in this world. You understand? And I feel like I do know a couple good brothers like that I talk to on a daily basis. You understand? That's going through this right now on a daily basis, bro. And we've been there for each other, had conversations and taught each other about the ledge and so forth. But me personally speaking for them and vouching for them, I know for a fact that they don't deserve what they're going through. I don't deserve what I'm going through. And I can tell you people that I know that I still talk to on a daily basis that do deserve to be in this situation. I don't think anybody should be in this situation.
Right.
But the repercussions of your actions is something that you have to go through as an individual, as a man or a woman, for what you did. You understand?
Absolutely.
So if you're going through it because you cheated or whatever the case, if it's a man or a wife or a woman or a husband that cheated, you have to go through those repercussions.
Right.
And I don't feel bad for you because you take a, you know, when you say you're married and you do your I do's and so forth, like, bro, that's not small. It wasn't small for me.
Right.
Cause I'm telling you right now, bro, back in my day, I was, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? I had my fun days.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? My
right.
days lasted for a long time. So to be in that place where you gotta cut that out and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You gotta buckle down and get that out your system. Like, that's what I did.
Right.
You understand? So to be on the other end of that now and what you went through, it's like, bro, like, for what? For what? You know what I'm saying? Like, for what? I never understand it.
Do you think this is a cultural thing where it's like, because do you feel like culturally, you know, people that look like us, do we try hard enough for marriage or do we just call it quits too fast?
I think personally, it's called quits too fast. Marriages, relationships, all have issues.
Right.
No one in this world is perfect, bro.
Right.
You think Barack and Michelle chilling and don't be having arguments? Like, yo, when she shot him out for his birthday, I get it. That's your hubby. Love
Right.
him to death. And when it's her birthday, he shot her out too. I get it.
Yeah.
But they have arguments. They have conversations. They have conversations that don't need to be had, and whatever the case may be. But they have those conversations. He don't box her and stuff like that, and I'm so grateful for that.
Right.
But I've seen and I know people that don't work for it. It's not that easy. It's the hardest thing ever because you have two individuals with separate cultures. I'm West Indian culture. My ex-wife is African American culture. So, you know, for breakfast, I want ackee and saltfish.
Right,
I want
right.
dumpling. I want banana. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
They want sausage. They want egg. They want grits. I don't
Right,
eat grits. So it's 2 pots on the stove being cooked. I'm good with that. I accept that because that's something that comes with the marriage. You understand?
Right.
But in the same breath, it's like, that if you really think about that, bro, if you got two individuals and they're coming to mesh together, you're gonna have complications, you're gonna have issues, you're gonna have the one way someone disciplines their child versus one way someone else does it. Those are things that you work through.
Yeah.
You understand? But I think today in society, you know what you got, social media, IG, Twitter, you got cats and you got people and people DM saying the most inappropriate stuff, bro.
Right.
Bro. The thirst is real,
It
son.
is,
Like,
man. It's a lot of noise.
it's a lot of noise.
of
It's a lot of
noise.
distractions from other places.
Yeah.
You understand? And you got individuals that be going through stuff and it's still being somebody in DM talking crazy. Like, bro, I got it. I see it. But unfortunately, those are the hands and cards that we're dealt. And we just got to pick up, go forward, and know that life goes on. But before you get to that life goes on part, there's the part that you're hurting, bro.
Yeah. Talk about that, because you know, it's like you do. And look, I ain't comparing no male and female, but like you do see a lot of women hurt through this. I never really see like what the guy. It always seems like the guy, right, is like
The macho man. They don't want to talk about it. Nah.
Yeah, like he's good. Like actually, he's happy it happened, right? Oh shit, now I can get back to old Ben.
I mean, I'm in that place now.
But like,
Maybe within the last month and a half,
But
2
before
months.
that,
But before that,
though.
nah. I was hurt, bro. Cause I want my I want my family. That was my best friend for the last 10, 11 years.
yeah,
If something funny on Instagram, you're gonna send that to your wife, like, oh, this is, babe, check this out.
right.
I don't do that no more. Like, it's many certain things that change over that course, and it's a life-changing situation, bro. Like I said, when you go through divorce, it's like someone dies.
Yeah, for real.
Like, that part of your heart is no longer there. But what hurts even more is knowing that you have to have that cordial relationship or that co-parenting relationship for your child, because it's no longer about you,
Right.
but it's about your child.
Right.
You understand? So I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, us as black men, or not even just black men, but men, we have to be able to speak about what issues or what has transpired, so we are aware and we can speak to it and know. I can tap you and show like, yo, it's okay, bro. Like, I've
Right.
been there. I understand. Like, and it's crazy. And you know, it's even funny is like, I made a post recently on Facebook and IG about my struggles with social media, you know,
Yeah.
social, about, you know, health and awareness and stuff forth like that. But the amount of love that I got back from it, or the people that hit me on the back end, you know, not the comments, but on the back end, text
Right.
me or DM and say, "Oh, I'm just so proud of your vulnerability and being able to speak to it and being able to shed light on it."
Yeah.
It not only is it helping someone else,
Yeah.
because I'm a firm believer, bro, and I'm not here to toot my own horn, but that post right there, I know it saved at least one person that day. And I can honestly say, I can tell you that post saved one person that day. I don't know who, but it did.
Yeah.
You understand? But if someone could reach out to me and say, yo, thank you, that's healing for me.
Yeah, for
Not
sure.
only for that individual, but for me, because I know I'm in Florida, bro. I don't have a whole bunch of people down there.
Right.
So to get that type of love from somebody and say, yo, I'm so proud of you, you know, you're not the only one, whatever, that makes me feel better knowing that I'm not the only one going through it, and that this is a process that I thought only I was going through.
Yeah. Do you feel there's a constant battle between men and women right now? Like, it's like, yo, this dude did this, or oh, she did that. Like, do you feel like it's like that now more than it was back then? Maybe with your parents or your grandparents. Like, do you think, or is it the same? Like, cause to me, when I go on social media, man, it just seems like a constant battle between men and women, man.
I think what it is, I think it's something that's been there.
Yeah.
You understand? But I think, because you said social media, it's something that, yo, bro, a lot of times out the day, we don't realize how many times our phone is in our hand.
Yeah, man.
And we see it. We see social media. We see it. Like, 3 people got divorced this week. Or 4 people got divorced this week or announced
I was like,
it. It hurt.
God, yeah,
You know what I'm
so-
saying? But at the end of the day, me and my mom, like, damn, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand. I see it. And I feel like my boy Tom Brady, somebody got to be there for him. You understand? Like, bro, I hope he don't throw a pick tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever.
Right,
like,
right.
it's just something like, yo, I think, to answer your original question, I think it's been there.
Yeah.
I think it's just that we see it now.
Now
because it's social media.
Okay.
It's put out there. Like, we would have never known that Brady going through this if it wasn't put out there.
Yeah.
We would know that Tia Maury is going through it if it wasn't put out there. You understand? So it's just like, yo, now that it's out there in social media world, we attract to it.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's how I really see that. But I think it's been there, honestly.
So, all right, so going through with what you went through, does it make sense for men for marriage at all? Does it actually make sense in today's world, or you just went through what you went through, and maybe, you know, for the next person it does make sense, or it doesn't make sense for nobody to get? Like, what's your take on marriage now?
I'm a firm believer in that people do change over time.
Okay.
You understand? I do believe in marriage. Right now, I just think that it's too many outlets, again, for people to come into your marriage and or you to create narratives of stuff, false stuff. Like, I'm a firm believer, like, yo, like, I feel like if you're going through something with somebody, like, I'm the biggest person who comes is like, yo, when you're going through something, you don't need to discuss that stuff with people outside your marriage.
Right. So who? It's just between you two, pretty much.
That's it. That's what it should be.
That's what it should be.
But that's not what the case was.
Shit,
There were people in my marriage from back in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021
Yeah.
that made their impact very known, didn't care, that were married, you understand, and or people that were not married, single,
Right.
living their best life, interjecting in my marriage.
Mm.
You understand? And when you do that, that's when an individual will start to get different ideas and different thoughts because they want to live that marriage that person, or live that life that person was living, or whatever the case may be. Like, it's a very gray area. But I, the person, don't believe that you should have conversation with people outside your marriage.
Right.
It don't matter if you're your parents, your siblings. It don't matter. Because let me tell you something, Ant.
Yeah.
Let me keep it a buck with you. Even when I was going through this stuff, I still, even everything that I knew,
Yeah.
even all the receipts that I had, screenshots and did, bro. Even through everything that I had in, I
Yeah.
was still willing to say, I would still work on my marriage.
You ain't want to just end it even knowing all that.
No, because I felt like it was. I felt like stuff were put in people's heads.
Right.
You understand? Like you were getting information, or you were getting stuff fed to you from people who don't have the best interest in you. You
Right.
can't take information from someone who's single, who don't have no kids, living at their parents' house or whatever. Like at the end of the day, you can't. What information that person gonna serve you? You can't take information from somebody that's recently divorced, catch a domestic charge. Like what information is that information gonna? What is that gonna do for you? You understand?
Yeah.
So I just feel like when you surround yourself with that type of negative energy, you're gonna take that in and you're gonna put that negative energy out.
Right.
And that's what I felt like happened to me.
Let me ask you something. Because you know what the hell's going to happen after this. You know what's going to happen. You know, like, I'm glad you're able to voice your thoughts. And I definitely want to ask you before we wrap it up on, like, advice or, like, a lesson. You know what I mean? What have you learned? However, accountability. You know, I'm big on accountability.
Absolutely big on that.
Do you feel you could have done anything different, you personally? Because what you know what people want to say, oh, well, Ben act like he ain't do nothing. Yeah, he was perfect then. He was perfect.
I get it, man. I mean, as far as, and I'm
But you don't
glad that you mentioned accountability, because I always want to take accountability for what I did or did wrong. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If I could have did anything different, yeah, I would definitely say that. If I could have did anything different, I it's hard to answer that. And the reason why I say that is because to this day, bro, I still don't know why I was.
So the communication was, so there was no,
No, there was communication on my end.
right. Well, so it was never like, well, look, well, how did that conversation even go? Like, how did,
divorce?
yeah, like, I'm trying to, like, what is it like?
Let me take it.
Yeah, like, I missed that. Like, how does, like, you know what I mean? I know you gotta be like, how does that actual, like, oh shit, like, I just got divorced.
I don't know how or why it came about.
Yeah.
But
is there a date on that? You know,
January 13th, 2021, bro. I was sitting at my desk working at the crib.
Yeah.
Ding dong. Lady come like, hello, Mr. Riley, rah, rah, rah. Are you in the army? I'm like, nah. And I had to really figure out, like, why they asked me that. They asked me that because they want to make sure you don't have any weapons.
Right.
And I even tell you, during the whole process, I didn't even have, like, I have a concealed permit and carry whatever.
Right.
I got rid of all of that. Because it's not like, not like to use it or anything like that, but it's like, I don't trust the space that I'm in. I don't trust the people who's around me. You could call the boys and say, oh, this and that happened.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a whole different,
wow.
I'm 280 pounds, but I'm 6'4". The police came to my house 4 different times on 4 different occasions. And not once was I ever arrested because they seen what was transpiring. And bro, there's receipts to all this stuff. There's like, I'm not gonna just say it to say it, but there's like, these are the times that we're in where people will try to manipulate you or try to make you feel bad or try to break you.
Yeah.
It almost broke me.
Yeah, police.
Like, bro, you know, you had a crib where you was younger, you had the neighbor, had the police coming in the house, and everybody looking out the window.
Yeah,
like,
right.
To be in that situation, and the police is called 4 different times on my address, bro. Like, the police that started coming were familiar with the situation, knew who was doing whatever the case may be. So it's more like, yo, like, why are we still here? Why are we doing this? You know what I'm saying? But to answer your original question, which was,
so like the day, like you at your house, 13th, yeah.
I'm at the crib and I'm working. She came. She's like, yeah, you know, Mr. Riley, you've been served, bro. When I tell you, I didn't understand. I've never been served. I don't know what this paperwork looked like. It's like 25 pages. I'm looking at it. I'm like, bro, my heart dropped.
Damn, son.
Heart dropped.
So, hold on. All right.
Did
you? So you ain't see it coming? Like, you
did not see it coming, and then we tried to work on it.
Yeah.
It was like, we're gonna do immense therapy, and this is during COVID, so it's like you can't go in the office. So we're doing like once a week, twice a week with the therapist.
Yeah.
And we try to work on it, and then it's just like June, Father's Day came. That was around our anniversary, Father's Day weekend anniversary, the same weekend. And she like, nah, it's not working. I'm like,
Okay.
I mean, do I feel like the effort was put in? Nah, because you already had your thoughts and stuff made up from a while ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, you know, allegedly there's people putting stuff in your ear from years
Right.
ago.
Right.
So it's like you already had that thought process already made. You understand? Like, why are
Yeah.
you pulling me along for this ride if this is not the ride that you want to go on? And I just felt like, yo, at that point, even from then, and like I still was trying to work on my marriage, trying to fix it, not becoming. I feel like it's a norm nowadays.
Yeah. You was trying not to
I
let
was not
this.
trying to go
Yeah.
through that. Like, it's
Yeah.
not because I didn't want to go through it, but it's like I didn't want to put my son through that, and I knew that that was the person that I fell in love with, I loved, and it's like,
And that's what I was gonna ask you. So like, you kind of answered the question I'm about to ask you, but because I'm like, so if that happened to you 4 times, right?
Mhm.
Like and all these things, what made, why not you leave?
why I didn't leave. I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, during the
The
process,
catch.
during the process of my divorce,
Yeah.
um, I went, I was in like groups, you know, I was in divorce groups or whatever the case may be, trying to seek type of advice and stuff like that. But one of the main reasons why I personally didn't leave is one because my son is in the house.
Yep.
Any narrative could have been told to my son.
It's true.
I mean, if the narrative was being spit out like how it was prior to me leaving or before the divorce, like I don't know what, you know, what wouldn't you have said or what wouldn't have been said about me to
Right.
my son. You understand? So that was one thing. Two, you know, this is during COVID, and then like rent and everything was getting higher, house prices was getting crazier, and I'm not gonna put myself in any financial.
I'm glad you said
I'm
that.
not gonna put myself in any type of
I'm
financial
glad you
fuck
said that. I'm glad you
to
said that.
accommodate anyone.
Keep going.
You know, I'm not gonna put myself in that type of situation to accommodate anyone for their displeasement. Because at the end of the day, I know I wasn't the person, or I wasn't someone that was being negative or doing this or doing that. Like I was just a innocent bystander in my house
Right.
where I felt like I couldn't even be at for some of the time. You know what I'm saying? So that was the two biggest things with me. The narrative that was created, and then the financial mess up that could have happened.
A lot of people do the financial reasons.
But then what happens also when you go to court, they'll spin that like, oh well, you know, you took off on your kid or you took off on your kids, and you know you want to go live your life and do what you want to do. So we're gonna actually just gonna reward the wife, you know, full custody or whatever type of, like I've seen it, and
Yeah.
because I'm in these groups, these divorce groups, and I've seen it, and I see this experience that these guys are having.
Yeah.
I had to make sure I had to do what I had to do to ensure that that didn't happen to me, and I had to be there, and that's why I was like, I had to. It was so hard, and being in that house, the level of toxicity was so big. You understand? And I just felt like I had to do everything that I could do to ensure that I never flew off the radar or became crazy as the narrative was projected. Like, for what? Like, I just need to do and take care of myself and take care of my son, and that's what I could do, and that's what I did.
What if, all right, so closing this out, man. Is there anything you want to close it out with, man? The floor is yours, man. Is there advice? You know, even like to, as far as the communication from both parties, anything you want to say?
I think the biggest thing I learned from this, bro, is that one, you got to take your mental health seriously, yo. It's not up to anybody around you, mother, father, siblings. No one can tell you about your mental health.
Right.
You understand? And that's the biggest thing that I learned, because I had people that I thought were in my corner turn their back on me. And I'm talking about people of close importance, bro. You understand? And that shit hurt.
Yeah.
To this day, it still hurts. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's something that we have to realize, and that needs to be normalized. The whole getting divorced and co-parenting and shit, that's not something that should be normalized, because that's not affecting just you. That's affecting kids, that's affecting grandparents, that's affecting everybody.
Right.
Your mental health only affects you. You understand? So that's something I think that needs to be addressed or, you know, rectified in the near future, whatever. Communication in marriages, yo. You ain't got, and I know you're married, I'm proud of you. You understand? I'm proud of you for that.
Yeah.
But communication goes so far. You can't be shutting down and not having conversations with your partner or for whatever reason. Like, bro, we are adults. Seek therapy if it's prior to marriage, during marriage, and post. Like, it's no, I don't see why people have this conception that, you know, I can't talk to someone. Like, for years I heard that, bro. Like, I'm not talking to nobody. I'm fine. I don't need it. Whatever, whatever. All right. Okay. Hey, I hear you. Whatever you want to do, that's your business. You understand? So, like I said, the therapy, the mental health, communication, and I think as men and women who go through divorces, there has to be a cutoff point where you have to understand that it's not about you and that person anymore. You understand? Like, I'm at a place right now, bro. I can tell you right now, October, I'm at a place where I don't care about it anymore. This is gonna be my last time speaking on this. You understand? But I don't care about it anymore. It is what it is. You know, the conversations happen, things have transpired, and things have been said. I don't care anymore. Right. At the end of the day, my son is here. His mom is there. I'm always gonna respect her. I'm always gonna have love for her. You understand? And I'm always gonna respect her as my son's mom. But at the end of the day, like, I can only focus on myself and know that I gotta mentally be good for myself. Because if I'm not good for myself, I can't be there for my son.
Right.
I think if there was no Ben Jr., then things probably would have went a different way. But the fact that the reality is that he is here, I have to make sure I'm good for him, so he has someone to look up to when he gets older. Because that's the biggest thing. Our kings, our kids, they need our kids, kings and queens. They need their parents in their life, whether they're together or not. Unfortunately, if it's not together, cool. It is what it is. But we have to come to some place where we could co-parent, and the lies and stuff like that, and trying to tear, you know, the men down or tearing the women down. Like, we got to stop that. Like, at the end of the day, like, seriously, because it's not just affecting us, it's affecting our kids. I grew up in that. Like, things were said around me that are still in my head fresh, that I heard growing up, bro, that I wish I didn't hear.
Right.
You understand? And that shit has affected me to where I want to make sure that I'm cautious of what's being said around my son. You understand? If it's from my family or if it's from his mom's family, like, at the end of the day, like, that's our child.
Right. You don't need to be here.
Nah, bro. And that's what hurts me more than anything now, because that's the divorce part. I'm over that. It's just the whole co-parenting thing now. Like, you can't, and the biggest thing that I can really take from all this, Ant, is that I learned to stop expecting myself from other people. You can't expect yourself from other people. You can't expect that person to
do what you would do.
All right. That's the biggest thing that I learned, bro. That might be my next tat. Like, yo, you can't expect yourself from other people, bro.
Yeah,
my pops always told me, like, yo, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. That's stuck in my head since I was a baby, son. Now the next one is, have to stop expecting myself from other people. Because I would never do the things that had transpired during the course of my divorce, post, prior, previous, whatever. Like, any of that stuff happened from whenever. I wouldn't do that. But I see the type of people that are around it, the people who are putting that information and narrative in the air, and I see what they got. You ain't doing nothing with yourself.
Right.
You're not doing it. You're just there. You know what I'm saying? And you're interfering with other people's lives and other people's livelihoods, and it really shows what you are, what your character's about. And unfortunately, but fortunately, God deals with people like that.
Yeah.
Karma comes back to people like that. And I just pray that, you know, my son, his mom, and myself, we can continue to co-parent and do what we got to do for our son. Because at the end of the day, there's no love lost, but it is love lost. But there's no love lost, and it's just like that's how the chapter ends. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is.
Do you feel like there's a certain age someone should wait? Like, you know what I mean? Because your son he's young, right?
Oh, you mean to go get divorced?
Yeah, like, maybe, like, you see, because, you know, they say a lot of people, like, when their kids grow up, then, like, couples kind of like, all right, well, they're grown, let's leave. Like,
yeah, I mean, I see it happen when, you know, the couples are much older, or I'm sorry, the kids are much older and they get divorced.
Right. Do you feel like that's something you couldn't make it to that point where, like, your son's...
If it's a situation like, and you know, my ex-wife said she wasn't happy, whatever, but we're gonna continue to live in the house and we'll still be married, or there was communication, there was some type of communication to where I knew where you stood or how you felt, whatever.
Right.
That stuff wasn't happening.
Yeah.
You understand? So to be in this place and to be side blinded by, like, you know, with divorce and so forth, whatever like that, all that came to my mind was like, damn, this is what I went through when my brother and I were the same age. Alex and I were the same age when when Ben is going through this.
Yeah.
And I just know what it did for him. So now at 22 years later, I'm still in therapy. Now what else I got to do? Put my son in therapy.
Right.
Because I want to stay ahead of the curve. You understand? If I don't, then Ben is gonna become he's gonna just do stuff out of anger, out of temper. Like he's gonna be upset with things. And honestly, bro, I've heard my son say things that has caught me off guard or had me like sad. Like, damn, like why? Like he don't deserve this. You understand? And it breaks my heart to see my son go through this because I went through it, and it affects everyone different. I don't think my siblings probably struggle with it as much as I did.
Right.
But I'm a very, 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 very family oriented person.
That's who you are, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just and Ben is half my DNA. You understand? So it's only right that he may possess some of those issues or things that, you know, that may bother him, whatever, but it's just more of like just being mindful of others and not being selfish and in the moment. Like, bro, we got it's bigger than that.
Right.
Life is bigger than that. And I think that some people don't understand that. And it will become a reality. It will become a reality because, like I said, I'm not the only one that was affected by Ant. You know, things change, finances change, everything changes. Not just with me, with her as well. So things, you know, you start to see the difference in what, you know, what happens and the repercussions of, you know, divorce and so forth. But I just feel like, man, if it can be talked out, if it can be worked out, then let it happen, bro.
Yeah.
Like, don't give up so easy, man. I'm a firm believer, like, yo, people do stuff out of curiosity. People gonna text and entertain text or see or shit, sleep with somebody or whatever. And if you have the heart to take it back and take them back and accept it, go to therapy and get whatever is addressed. If not, then cut it off then. You understand? But don't be in it to drag somebody down and then throw salt on somebody's name. Like, bro, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. It's 2022. When you got beautiful platforms like this and you can speak your piece, you understand, and speak the truth, then I'm not about to be worried about nobody and what anybody has to say about me or my son or my family at that. Because what that saying say? Words is blow winds unkind or some shit like that. I gotta ask my dad, but yo, I be damned. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care, man.
On that note, brother,
I appreciate you, Doug.
Appreciate
this was
you.
the piece that I needed, man. Like I said, man,
glad I was able to give it to you, man.
It was real, man, and I appreciate you just allowing me to speak my piece, bro. Like I said, I don't wish ill will on nobody. I don't have no grudges. I'm good, man. I'm in a better place, man. And I feel like this has helped me to see the light, to see people for who they are, you know, what they want, and the narratives that are created and how we break them shits, man. So,
yeah, for sure.
Whenever you in West Palm, man, pull up.
Hey, man, that's 3 weeks from now, so that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna see you in 3 weeks, man.
Yeah, you know, man. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
No guru-ish, man.